What is somewhat worrisome, at least from my perspective, is that only 4% is going into agriculture, and I would extend that to say food supply chain related projects. And probably one of the reasons is that within financial inclusion, for instance, we have good examples of successful projects, and probably the scalability of these projects and the ticket sizes are a little bit larger. And the same would also go for clean energy, whereas with regards to agriculture, it's very complicated and we have a very fragmented environment over there. But the fundamental challenge that I see here is that due to this kind of structure and this allocation of the funds, my hypothesis is that only a fraction of this money will actually directly impact the people at the bottom of the pyramid. And I'm talking here especially about rural India, and also about the marginal farmers, which play an extremely important role in this part of the society. So let's take a look at some other facts. You're probably aware of those, but these are fundamental in order to understand where the biggest lever for impact investment could be in a country like India. So we have 68% of the population of 1.3 billion that are living in rural parts of the country. We have 58% who depend on agriculture as a business for their livelihood. That's where they are generating their income. And the average income of an Indian farmer is about $100 per month, which is significantly lower than the average of the entire country. And we have 67% of the farmers that are marginal farmers. That means farmers with less than 1 hectare. So if we calculate this together, we have about 500 million people in India who actually belong to the marginal farming families. And all of those earn around $100 per month or even less. And so I think this underlines the fundamental challenge. If you want to change India fundamentally and impact the entire economy and bring the people from the bottom of the pyramid upwards, then we need to create projects and businesses that have an impact on the viability of farming as a business. It means to, on one side, to help them to improve their practices, but very importantly, also to create demand for the produce with fair payments, and transparent systems. And ultimately, then we come to financial inclusion, ensure that also the marginal farmers, the small farmers, get access to financing in order to invest into a growth of their business, be it a cattle loan, for instance, or elements like this. Now, the problem is reminding us of the huge chunk that is going into financial inclusion. Very little of this money is actually arriving at the level of the marginal farm. Most of it is going to the more successful farmers or the rural entrepreneurs, which is good, but the biggest need would be with the marginal farmers, because they don't have access to institutional loans. So they go to the local money lenders and pay horrendous interest rates of more than 30%, and that simply doesn't work. So that puts the entire community under a huge stress, and that gives the reason for being from an impact perspective for our organization. So Pioneer Ventures has been in India now for 15 years, and our mission and purpose is to accelerate the modernization of rural India through what we call best-in-class ventures. And this reveals that we are not like a typical private equity company that is investing into existing ventures, but we are creating them ourselves. So we have a team of 35 people in Mumbai, which is continuously analyzing the value chains, identifying the gaps, and then we have very systematic process to screen the opportunities through a feasibility, a validation, and bring those that are most promising into a pilot phase to test them and ensure that they are actually scalable, and they can both have the potential to create a good financial return and also a significant social impact, and in a ecologically, environmentally responsible way. So in our company we have 35 people doing that, developing the pipe and also providing functional support to the operating companies. In India, in Switzerland we have about 10, that's more like a family office setting that we are having here. And then in the operating companies themselves, we have 5 companies operational at the moment. We have a little bit more than 300 people employed in these 5 companies. So in order for you to understand what it is that we are actually doing, what kind of operational ventures that we have there and what kind of impact they could generate, I'll give a few examples. So the first company that we started about 10 years ago is the Desai, and that's a company focused on bananas. So India is the largest producer of bananas worldwide, and Desai is the largest exporter of bananas out of India, but it also caters significantly to the domestic market with the international standard banana, which was not existing in India to that extent before, and it has its own brand called Happy Banana. So today we are exporting Happy Bananas mainly to Middle East and also selling them to structured retail and unorganized retail in India, with an end-to-end control of the entire value chain. We work with thousands of farmers from the very outset to support them in growing bananas, and within 2 years we were able to, when we started, to double the productivity of